I feel so much love to see all of you. Feel how close we are, how connected we are.
Yeah, we traveled halfway across the world and realized we've always been home. Always been home.
We just share the same love everywhere. Lori was just sharing briefly with us. She was first in the room, and she shared she goes on the street and people just smile, like big smiles when she smiles at people. And it's this, connection. Yeah, so natural. We all really, really know each other. It's actually completely fake, this idea that you don't know some people, or that you have to get to know people personally to know them. No. It's the opposite. Personality actually can kind of block the knowing. If we go with just beingness, we just naturally love everyone. It's very easy. Yeah. Maybe we just hear how you're doing, how it's going. If anyone wants to dive into some theme, something you've been going through, maybe.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you so much. I'm experiencing like peak insanity, and I can feel it's like this is just the opportunity to release just all these kind of beliefs that create this sense of separation, and I just want to do it. I just want to I don't want to invest in them anymore, So, there's like a couple of stories. It doesn't even matter. It's like a couple of triggers. One story that I'll just say just a few sentences about, because it's just so easy to kind of contextualize, is like so my birthday's on Sunday, and it's like I have this idea that it's supposed to be like this happy thing, but as it approaches, all this insanity comes up, like no one cares about me, like people are going to forget me, like if I don't remind people, they won't remember. So just like it ends up being this like activation point for all of these false beliefs, right? So I just want to really like repurpose this moment, like with the Holy Spirit's purpose. It's like, because I know where the ego's interpretation leaves me, and I'm just like, I'm done with it. It's like, and so, Jesus says all we have to do is hand it over, right? Is that like, it's the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I want to hand all these things over, and I just wrote down all the thoughts this morning, and I'm wondering, like, can I just read them out loud and just like in this light container with all of you, just like say goodbye to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I can just like, okay, this is the process. That's my willingness, right? That's what's required. Okay.
And we can just also celebrate you now. You know, this is the birthday, the birth moment, you know, because we've been so trained to just celebrate like one day a year.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
that's
the
true.
special body, but
Right.
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm totally over it, man. I'm not into this insanity anymore. I don't even know who I am. It's just that insanity tells us craziest stuff, you know? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to read these things. It's
Mhm.
not long.
Go for it.
Okay. So the lack flavor is deprived, depleted, and neglected. That's one of the main lack flavors. No one cares about me. I always give and I never get. Nobody gives me anything. I'm used and then people go and be happy and then they leave me behind. They just use me and then they feel better and then they leave me behind. And I'm the only one affected. People get to be unaffected and then I'm just left holding like the effect of everyone's darkness. Taken advantage of. Just like letting these things go. That's why I'm saying them.
Yeah. We see them burn up in the fire.
Yeah. I could be forgotten. I'm forgotten. People are happier without me. I need to remind people of my birthday. I need to remind people. It's like so funny. What other people give me is not good enough. This is like really vicious stuff. Like, I don't want to receive what others give. It's not good enough. People do it wrong. It's like, it's such a bind. There's no happiness in this world of these thoughts. Oh, and then basically I wrote, I hate everybody. I hate everybody. I was like, I hate everybody. Resentment, a lot of resentment, you know, that's like one of the flavors, resentment. It's like poison, you know?
Yeah.
So I just want to, I don't know what to do except just to expose this stuff here. Like, is there something else I'm supposed to do? Can you guys help me? Like,
no, thank you. Thank you. This is, you know, this stuff is what the Holy Spirit wants. Holy Spirit wants to take it from us. And I think it's really, really good that you sat down and wrote it out and kind of acknowledged each one. And they're very similar, those things. It's kind of one theme.
Yep.
Going through it all. And I was thinking, yeah, you were saying you don't even know who you are anymore, you know, and that feels really good too, you know, to allow that place, because these things is the ego telling you what you are.
Yeah.
Every one of those is the ego trying to tell you what you are.
Yeah.
You know, and it's actually just glancing before we started the session at the laws of chaos. And the beginning of the laws of chaos, the first law of chaos is the belief that truth is different for everyone, which means that there is not joining. Those clashes or different points of view, misunderstanding, I don't get what I want, I don't get to be loved the way I love, you know, is personality stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm right and they're wrong. And this is the ego's vicious way. I think that's why it's called chaos, because it brings chaos in the experience. Like the ego wants us to not connect. And so we defend our point of view and we don't see the whole perspective. Like nobody sees the whole perspective.
Mm.
So then we get disappointed over and over again when we try to interact interpersonally, because we feel innocent and we feel like, you know, we've got it together and we, you know, but then we clash, you know, bring people together and there is always that. And that's why we have to come from another point. We have to find another source.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this whole piece of paper is like mistreatment, you know, the belief in unfair treatment. It's like
Yeah. Because you're not you. Like that whole paper is about you, the little you, living in that little house or wherever you live, having those special friends. None of it is you, but if you believe that is you, you're going to be sad and disappointed a lot of times.
yeah. And most of this is not even happening. Like my friends in this whatever dream are actually nice, good, loving people, you know? So it's like, that's why it's so insane too.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's sweet that you're looking at it, because I could even see the Holy Spirit's gonna surprise you on Sunday, you know, and there's gonna be a lot of different than what you have expected there.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Or if nobody comes and nothing happens, you know, then you get to celebrate anyway the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel, just to say like maybe one last thing, I just feel like kind of humble in the way of like, I don't have a clue how this healing happens, which is accurate, you know, like all I know is this insanity is not what I want anymore, you know, and so I'm just following the directions as best I can and trying to not like substitute myself in for the Holy Spirit's role, which is hard because I feel like so bossy, you know, in my head, you know. But I guess that's my prayer with you guys, is just to lay all this down. And, you know, I want to like wake up from this nightmare, you know? Yeah. It's my real desire.
Yeah, that's a good New Year's resolution.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I can almost imagine like all of these thoughts, everything comes from this like lack place. And it's like, oh, when you're joined with the Holy Spirit and you have the experience of knowing you need nothing, it's like I can imagine like, oh, like you see, everything you see is different, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And yeah, that you're looking at the personal self is so helpful. Like all those aspects that you're looking at, even you read that you're the one giving and they're just getting and then running away, enjoy with what you're given and you're left But that's, yeah. And I'm sure when you extend, that is actually not how it feels. It feels like, you're part of the love that they receive, and,
Yeah.
it's one thing going on.
Yeah.
And I think that's the little tweak in the mind, because we can get so caught up in the little me, in the little self, and all the beliefs, and thinking we know what we need, and thinking we know how our lives should go to be the best possible life, to save ourselves. But it's so complicated, and it's always about the future. Jesus says future joy or future happiness is not your just reward, because you have cause for freedom now. So, it must be so.
Thank you. That's so helpful. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate this space.
I love celebrating with you. Let's have birthday every day.
It's holy birth moment right now.
Yeah.
And Jesus has given us those helpful reminders, that we can go above the battleground, for example. It's one of them. We can go high above the battleground. And another one says, you can only find love in a loveless place by realizing that you're not there. You can only find love in the world by realizing this isn't your home. This is not where you truly are. You're never here. You never had a body. There is this other experience. It's like light, or it is light that is available. It's not seen with eyes. It's not touchable with the hands. It's an abstract experience of presence. And we can let that calm our minds. We can look calmly at the illusions when we start to tap into that. There's a light. We can look calmly at the symbols of separation when we tap into that light. We can look calmly at anything when we allow this abstraction of spirit, this abstract reality. And I think we are like little children learning to tap into this other state of mind that has nothing to do with the personal self. We spent this beautiful time in Cape Town with the guys there, and yeah, we constantly talk about ways to release the blocks, release the painful individual mind, the loneliness, the fears, the stress, confusions, sadness, feelings of rejection, anger. Like that is what we can always focus on, releasing these blocks, whatever they are. good when we realize that, and we realize how we can use our time, how we can use our minds. And I think our minds can feel pretty complicated when we start taking our steps. I feel like I've started taking my steps for more than 20 years, 25 years. I watched a video I recorded years ago where I had received the message that I am a seed. Spirit kept telling me, you're a seed that needs to go in the ground. You need to be in this dark soil, in this quiet place for some time. You don't even need to grow, just be, rest in this place. And I kept receiving that message for a while, and then I was given a place to be. I could be that seed. And I saw things, I had seen things in my mind, and I tried to describe them, but I also felt like I was a seed, so I couldn't maybe put words to it clearly, but the feeling was that I didn't want guidance because it felt as if someone, God, wanted something from me, wanted me to do something that in the future, for example, hold a gathering, or when guidance came in like that, I was always like resisting it. And I was looking at that and I thought, yeah, maybe this is how everybody experiences God, more or less, in the beginning, but like an external threat coming at me, like someone asking something of me, So I even interpreted God this way, but I knew I was very, logical. I knew that there is a reward in following guidance. There is a help in following guidance. So I still followed it. I always still followed it, but I always went through this anxiety, between I received the guidance and when it was to be carried out. It's usually a time in between, a time of feeling like crap, because every time I always wished that could it not be immediate? Could it not be just immediate that I could, give out whatever Spirit asked of me? And sometimes that happened too, but often it was this time in between. So in this experience, I was looking at why that was so. Why was I so anxious? And I received some explanations from within about this. And I think this is how it goes. We don't need to understand the laws of chaos or the craziness, really. We can't maybe explain it, but I think we do need to understand what goes on in our minds to be able to release it. That's been my path anyway. A lot of psychology, like to understand and be very gentle. Yeah. Okay, does anyone else want to share something or go into something?
Yeah, I just wanted to pray for a miracle. You can hear the dogs. Yeah, just to let go of the patterns that I keep playing out of anxiety and fear, and just to sort of share this space to really understand deeper what's going on in my mind in a calm way.
It's like a good helpful prayer, because it's rarely calm when you identify with the stuff that goes on in the mind, the fears. But when you can look with the Holy Spirit, you're calm. And yeah, to pray for a miracle feels really good. You're worthy of a miracle, you know. Every day can be devoted to miracles. It's a shift of perception from fear to love. You can be as calm as easy. Yeah, it really is to look at each fear and dismiss it. Dismiss it. Don't like follow it in. Don't ever follow the fear into its explanations, you know, into separations. Just question. You can just question the fear and question the perception. And then trust the miracle will come, because Spirit is so in support of that type of prayer. So in support. Spirit is the miracle maker in the mind. So when you question your perception, the miracle just flows back in. And it's so sweet with you when we work together with it. Sometimes it is your face just lights up when you realize the simplicity and, you know, when you realize the truth.
Yeah. There's the really deep belief of unworthiness. Yeah, just pray for a miracle with that, to start seeing my worth.
Yeah.
So that I can pray sincerely and like to be open to receive.
Because of course you're worthy, you know. If you think maybe of another person, you feel they are worthy, wouldn't you be as worthy? Of course you would. The Spirit wants to use you, Spirit wants to love through you, extend through you. Be light, be light-hearted, be light through you. Be spontaneous. And maybe there is something more specific you need to lift up.
Well, yeah, sacrifice ideas. There's a lot of shame, but it's like this feeling of like, I'm not getting what I want. Yeah. I think you said it earlier. God isn't giving me what I want. And I'm angry. Yeah, I feel angry at God for that.
Yeah, so the ego's qualities are being put onto God. But God is very tight. God doesn't give you what you want and need. But what if that is just a filter of fear of present joining, fear of allowing that peace, you know, and joy in present? It must be. Of course, you can have beliefs about what you need and want that are unhelpful for you. Maybe a little bit of that is going on.
Yeah, I just want to change. I just want to shift. I want a miracle. So I can be at peace.
Yeah, beautiful. You know, try not to change the world. Try rather to change your mind about the world. That is the clear wisdom, the advice from Jesus. So when you change things all day long so quickly, or you want to, you know, get into something else out of avoidance, yeah, maybe give yourself 10 minutes and say, well, what's going on in my mind? What do I believe? Give yourself a little time with it instead of thinking that the form has to change. It's never really the form that has to change. It's the mind. But the ego mind will say it's the form. There's something wrong with the form and it has to change. That's the trick. Yeah, follow the prompts and trust. You're worthy of miracles.
Yeah, I had only loving thoughts are true a couple of times today.
Nice. Yeah, there can be that strong belief in sacrifice. I think another lesson brings that up. I'm not asked to sacrifice to find the peace of God. But there is a belief that you have to sacrifice something.
Yeah, I think so. Because I'm getting a lot of past memories come up in my mind when I meditate, and getting these pangs like, oh, I need to wish I was back there with that person and that person.
Do you ask the Holy Spirit if that's true when you get those thoughts?
Yeah, I do try to just sit and listen, but I don't feel like I get an answer really a lot of the time. I think that's the unworthiness as well, is this belief that I don't get answers and I don't receive healing, or I do and I have, but it feels to me kind of rare. But even now, as I'm expressing, I'm actually feeling kind of lighter, like just like asking for a miracle in this group, like feels something's lighter in my mind.
You know, my experience with going back to situations, it never is what the mind thinks. I had a boyfriend when I started studying the course and before I started the course. It was a very nice, very helpful relationship for 2 years. And I knew when it started that it was going to last for 2 years because I was told that from within. So although it was a very nice relationship, I outgrew it because when the course came into my life, there was no way that I could keep joining with him. And he tried to study the course just to keep me, but that was not the right reason. So there was no purpose there. But a year later, after I'd broken up, I invited him to come for a visit because I had those thoughts. So there was a very nice relationship. So we had a picnic or something together, but it was like no connection. It was totally not there. So that's my experience of trying to go back to the past.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Yeah, I know I could never go back. It's just the memories come in and the memories of good times and just being normal. Those like parties and people and like all of those things. But I know that it would never be the same. Like, so
Yeah. And I like how spirit works, you know, you can always give over to spirit what you like. You say, well, spirit, I like parties. I like this. I like water parks, like this, you know, and then let it come in, you know.
dogs
Yeah, along those lines is while we were down there in Cape Town, we were talking about kind of things people would like to do, and it was Lucy actually who said, I'd like to do some yoga. And then Dean said, oh, yeah, there's like a free yoga class on the beach in half an hour. If we're going to do it, we got to go now. And it was like, whoosh. It was like spirit provided. And there was some healing for people, but there was also joy, and it was just beautiful. I love how things are given, just shows up.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
We're with you in the prayer for miracles. You're worthy of them.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I was just, as you were asking about stuff that come up, and I had a friend that was very angry, and it became difficult to communicate because of this anger. And it was very much guided to leave the relationship. There was something that was being held on to, and it wasn't helping me to stay inside the relationship. So I heard one morning, it's okay to leave it for now. It's okay to let it go for now. Although I realized I hadn't let go of the feeling, because it was obviously related to lots of other things. You know, whenever there's an upset with anyone, it's not that person. It's just like it's like a root system. They're just hooking me into it, and it's related to lots of other experiences in my life, and who knows how far back. And she's tried to recommunicate with me, but I just felt very resistant to it. And I know it's a grievance. I know it's not love that's just removing that communication. But when there's so much anger projected at you, and it's kind of, you know, that there isn't a desire to release it because of this thing, and I can see it very clearly. And until actually joining on this call, it wasn't clear at all. I've been kind of asking, but kind of not. And what I heard just a few minutes ago was, how would you want to be treated? Like, and I'm sure there's things that in my mind that I can't see. You know, I believe that part of the reason we have to join is because another can see into my mind where I can't see, because I have something that I'm unwilling to let go of. But because I don't want to, because that idea, if I remove it, then I have to let go of the world. It means I have to let go of the desire for the world, and that's scary. You know, the light is scary because I don't want to fully let it go. So I do know, or I understand why we need to join on things, but I still didn't want to let it go. And I was just praying, and I heard, you can still communicate gently, and just do it in a way, because I could even hear the thoughts. Oh, I need to tell her what her issue is, and what her problem is, and what she's done wrong. But that's not loving at all. And I can feel it's not a loving the feeling of it, that idea is not loving at all. Yeah. And so I just heard, you know, how would you feel? How would you want to be treated in the situation where you have something that you're fearful of the light, and you don't really want to let something go? And how would you want to be treated? And I would want to be treated gently as well. I don't want to be judged, or even though, yeah, there seems to be anger and a lot of strong judgment, strong, what seems like attack. But then at some level, I know that she's just, again, reflecting something that's happened during my experience of this life, that it's just happening again, so I can look at it. But I do acknowledge that there is fear of, yeah, there's fear to release it still. So yeah, just a desire to hand over that. And yeah, I don't want to put, because that's my pattern. I pull away. I'm like, okay, if you want to continue your pattern, do it somewhere else. That's the way I do it. That's the way I've done it for so long, instead of joining and just going into it. And there's often been a lot of, like, I shut down. If there's shouting or any anger or aggression, I either shut down, or I step back, but then at some point it boils and I just explode. Yeah, so when anger is projected towards me, it's like, okay, I'm out, I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe just, even right now, just really give over the image of her that triggers this in you, that image. Just give that over. And just you're really safe to give her over, and safe to watch, be present. And maybe you would be inspired to extend, this. Like when you give her over fully and release your resentment and anger, then you can know, then you will know what the guidance is, if it is to keep talking to her or not,
Yeah. It seems so slight, like a I'm not angry at her. I felt many times like I could see her innocence, but I still feel this disconnect. Like it's like there's no resentment, there's no nothing. It's just like I don't want to, just a cutting of communication. But I could feel it's not helpful. It's not a loving thing. I want to fill the gap or remove the gap between us. Even if I don't communicate again, it's not even, I don't even feel it's necessary. Maybe it's not, but I just want to fill the gap.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. I can see it's already, I can almost feel like it's almost healed, like there's the closing of the gap even now. I think sometimes I try to forgive it really quickly and it does the opposite. It almost backfires. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's in divine timing, not your conscious plan.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of the guilt in the mind, because it's always the guilt that is causing this. Guilt and unworthiness. Like you said, you see so clearly it's in your mind. It's not really about the other person. And so that's all that you need to release is that guilt in your own mind. Guilt is the gap.
At some level, I know I should be grateful for her showing me something that's still stuck in my mind, because I pray for these things. I say, okay, show me what's still there. Yeah, there's still that, I think. Okay, but not that. Show me everything else, but not that. Just show me all the light stuff that's easy to deal with. Just the dark stuff, let's just keep that, but I know it all needs to be looked at. Yeah. I'm willing. Just the day that I thought about communicating with her, I had this vision of me being shouted at by her and just laughing at it, not in a harsh way, but in a, this is nothing. And then we're laughing together in this vision. Yeah. But it's just knowing when I'm still feel that gap. Is that just me pulling away still? Is it until I feel the love with this one and I can think of them very lovingly without thinking, oh, okay, shouldn't I communicate with them? I was thinking that's the telltale sign that I've really forgiven, that it's not just whoever I bring into my mind. Should I think about them, be able to think about them lovingly without feeling like, oh, I'm not sure. Because until that point, I'm still must be holding a grievance. I must be holding something.
Yeah, because I think you're called to extend. When we get into those questions, okay, should I join with this one or call that one? I think it's good to see what's going on in your mind, because it could be yeah, could be some self-doubt going on, or something to clear.
And I know that, you know, the egos, we can have 100 different amazing things, but if there's one really strong thing in our experience, it can overshadow everything else. And that's what the ego does. It focuses on the one thing, right, rather than all the good things about any relationship. All the thing, you know, forgiveness is remembering all the loving experiences, all the loving thoughts. Yeah. I think it's right just to focus on all the loving experiences, and then maybe at some point I can then ask, when I feel like there's no gap, then I can ask, is it wise to join now, or to even reconnect at all?
Yeah, and work through the hurt. So if this is something that has recurred, something from the past, there's some hurt, maybe a hurt child in you when you were a boy, or, you know, you feel hurt when she acts like that. So to focus on releasing the hurt would be helpful, which maybe you have.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, relationships serve very well, whether we are in them or not. It just serves to see so much in the mind. Yeah. I can feel her with spirit, you know, she's fine. You can let her go, give her over. When we see it interpersonally, we think we have relationships. It's not really so. You know, all people belong to spirit. All people, we just need to hand over. I see her laughing and joyful in the light.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Last night, Matthew shared with us, he had prayed before he went to sleep. He said, Jesus, be in my dreams, or use my dreams tonight. And he had this fantastic, wonderful dream of something intense happening, like some cloud of, I don't know, poison.
Yeah.
They killed him, and the ones he swam, and he died and flew into heavenly realms with Jesus, and Jesus took him to the place of healing. It was, yeah, beautiful. So maybe that will be an inspiring prayer for you tonight. Jesus, be in my dreams. Healed mind, be in my dreams. Yeah, I love you all very much. Take care.
Yeah, we're always. Yeah.
See you soon.